eno ye Uganda.
West Nile is one of the most resilient regions. You have heard we have been back and forth between Uganda, Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, and then back to Uganda. Even when our roads were completely cut off, it never stopped enterprise here. We found ways, whether it means passing through the lake through one cycle, whether passing through the convoy or getting things the reverse way from Congo. So the challenges for us have even been actually, the distance even has been an advantage. We look at every challenge as an opportunity and we creatively find ways of still establishing. For the hospitality sector, for example, you can imagine how long it takes to get here. And we appreciate, just like the mayor earlier, that West Nile was chosen to host this. One of the main things it has done is mindset change, because most of the people think West Nile is inaccessible.
Why are we here today is because we decided as a city to profile the entire West Nile. From Pakwachi, when you enter, I'm sure many of you, Jeno, you saw Nang Nang, the fish. Very beautiful fish. You can even eat it minus. That is Pakwachi, as you are coming in. So we profiled our entry level with what do we offer from Pakwachi to Adjumani.
When I was still in school, my professor would tell me words have meaning. So security is very wide, and we're talking of personal security, physical security, economic security, food security, but also health. So I will limit myself in discussing Arua, or this West Nile and related the northern region, to within the historical perspective, and but also move away from the traditional thinking of security to the innovative ones. To start with, moderator, is that Uganda's virgin flora and fauna falls in what the common man calls hard-to-reach areas. Personally, from my profession, there is nothing like hard-to-reach areas, whether it is on top of Mount Rwenzori or in the middle of an island in Lake Victoria. There is nothing like hard-to-reach in security. But our virgin flora and fauna, which serves us naturally, unfortunately we put in so little, but just God gave us what serves us, falls in hard-to-reach areas. In what? Secondly, we are cognizant of our history. We cannot change it. West Nile, Arua, which is in West Nile, and northern part of Uganda, suffered from long periods of insecurity. We are a country where we know that from 1962 to 86, we had 8 military coups, 8 governments, one changing another. So when some people are speculating we don't change governments, you remind them that we have ever changed 8 presidents in 24 years. Cognizant of that, another bigger perspective is that you cannot secure Arua from Arua in terms of security. If you're securing Arua, then you must secure it at least from that side of Amur and that side of... So we are securing Uganda by not only deploying on our borders, but also moving across to help our comrades. Your forces are in Somalia, your forces are in South Sudan, your forces are in DRC Congo, and I believe that's how you can say Kampala is secure, because we have a footprint in Masaka, in Jinja, and in Luwero. So as we help colleagues outside our borders, we are securing our country. Having said that, stability, security and stability are preconditions for tourism to flourish or thrive. Now, in those hard-to-reach areas, a tourist does not want to see physical uniform, does not want to see your mambas and tanks in the park. I don't want to see that. I just need an environment. I've put in my money, I've flown from Belgium, I need that aura, that environment of peace and security. So how do we, as security players, synchronize with the industrial workers of the minister to make sure that security is playing a pivotal role in determining a country's attractiveness to tourists? And tourists choose these destinations with, they Google, what is the crime rate? When was the last time they had a terrorism incident? How is the political instability? What are the health risks? We know that Ebola normally from Sudan or Congo hemorrhagic fever normally affects these places. So to me, the mitigation factors should be security players, not only UPDF, police, border security, customs people, immigration, coming together with the tourism professionals to think jointly.
Why do people go to Rome? Religious tourism. They want to go and see. They want to go and see the Vatican. They want to go and see historical things like the Colosseum. You know, we watched those days when the Roman time they would make for entertainment. People fight with lions. That big building is still. That big building is still there. Why do people go to Dubai? Is there a big five there? They go and climb a long building, right? Or ride in a desert. Okay? Why do people go to the coast? Is there a big five there? No, they go to the water. Now, West Nile, we have the longest motorable section of the Nile. 210 kilometers from the delta to Nimule. Motorable, no falls, no rocks, okay? You go to Laropi, where my honorable comes from, you will find the railway tracks at the landing and the pulleys which pulled it out, okay? When we grew up, for us, we thought Islam is Nubi. Okay? We called any Muslim a Nubi, because we are the ones who created it from here. And we went to establish Uganda. By the way, Uganda started from here. This is also not known. When the whites were looking for the source of the Nile, they approached it from two directions. One is from east, coming to look for it. The others came from the end, from the delta, downwards. And the first fort where Uganda was established, 1876, was established in Dufule, Fort Dufule. It's there, not yet discovered. We have been following up with the ministry to do not only a story, but even the archaeological work, and establish a museum in that place. Okay? So the options, but let me get back to the question. The question is, how can community benefit? Or how can communities own this? I need our people to go to Fort Portal. Those ones have understood the benefit of tourism. And all of them, they see any visitor, they are already nice to them. They are nice to them, they are smiling. They know it's brought money, okay? For these people we have listed here, the hoteliers, the transport people, even the tour guides, no, even the farmer. If you think travel is not the one driving the economy, remember COVID, when they stopped us. What happened to our eggs when there was no Tikomando and Rolex in the city? What happened to the chicken? Okay? So it is travel which drives street food. So the employment is not only for the drivers. Okay? The tourists. Does he come with this food? Does he come with this water? Does he come with this security? So a visitor is powerful. Okay? But especially the international visitor, because it's premium.
Is Arua ready? Are we at 100%? It's a lot of work in progress. But the progress is very good. Beginning here, where we are, I think this building was just completed a few months ago. What does that show? There is now momentum from the business community, and we've been discussing the PPP approach. We already advanced on the multi-purpose hall. We have attracted some business people. We are fundraising under the support of UNCDF to inject money to put up a 10-storied building that will have hotels, conference rooms, and of course the exhibition areas, and so forth and so on. We are already in discussion with the Hotel Association. Chairman is here. How do we classify? How do we make what we have first better? Because when you want new, first manage what you have. So through these engagements of the PPP, public-private partnerships, we want to streamline the hotels we have, make them clean, sanitation, make people through the university, of course with your support, the hospitality industry. How do we put in our people to appreciate that when a visitor comes to Arua, to West Nile, is more welcomed? He has given an example of Fort Portal. How does a visitor feel comfortable and stay more and spend more in Arua city? Those are all the skills we need to bring on board. And I think these are the discussions we need to continue before we bring in a new. Because I've also seen tourists may not necessarily be in very high-end hotels. We can also designate places for backpacks. People want to sleep outside. They have high value. But when they come here, they also want to interact with communities. Well-searched, but beautiful. Can we have a direction using our traditional construction materials and attract people? They will even be attracted more to that than high ceiling, than all this technology. Two, the food. We need to make sure that all the food that we plant is sustainable, is here. All hotels must have continuous supply of food, the vegetables, which we have very good. We must preserve our green, because tourism is not also about building. Some people can come for golf. We have a 9-hole golf course. How do we make it much more functional? How do we work with all our cultural leaders and everybody? Chairpersons are all here across West Nile. How do we preserve the green spaces we have? Some people want to come for leisure, just to come and rest from all this hustle and bustle. Do we have areas designated for resting places? Just someone to think?
From the fact that our borders were not designed by ourselves, but some people start in Berlin and we're just dividing as if you are dividing a bread of portion dining table. And by doing that, they left tribes on either side. I don't want to go into history, but we've had Agra war in Busia and Moda war in Cross. We have in Kasese, we have a king of the Bakonzo where he's commanding 20%, but he's 80% of the Banande. This is one tribe just called Bakonzo Banande, the other side. But where 80% is across the other side. Would you stop his people from visiting him? Likewise, we have where our honorable minister comes from, that is in Rwebisengo, in Toroko. We have Chef Rutahaba across. I think Chef is the chef of Borasi and Metego or Borasi Aron. But his father is on the Ugandan side, in Rwebisengo. Likewise, you have heard how Arua has been part of Sudan, part of Congo, part of Uganda. Earlier this month, moderator, we're having a joint South Sudan, Uganda generals going through the border issues. And one elder told me that, our problem is that President Amin was first South Sudanese, later he became Ugandan. So this is why we have some of these quarrels. And for us, we are solving it amicably. I'm sure most of you know that Uganda is a guarantor of the peace of South Sudan. Now, having said that, our own president has demonstrated that we are Africans and we should not be restrictive on these borders. But he has not told you to compromise your security. You can do your security, whatever protocols, but within the higher commander's intent. And that's why we are the biggest host of refugees. Apart from Syria and other places, we are like number 2 or 3, but we are number 1 in Africa. Now, Having said that, moderator, it brings me back to us. We are the problem. We know very well that enabling this smooth flow from South Sudan, from Congo, our brothers and sisters coming in, brings us revenue. The places we neighbor with are still, they are rich. First of all, the people who come here, by the way, they are rich. Some are mineral dealers. Some are big time traders. Before South Sudan got problems, the flow of dollars in Gulu was too much.
We lack hotels. People come and visit the reserve. They have nowhere to stay. They have nowhere to get food. As we are having the runners as well, we shall get the opportunity of having good roads. Already work is going on, and that increases accessibility and of markets for our goods. And once we also have hotels, we shall have people selling their food crops to these hotels. Tour companies will come in, camping sites. We need camping sites around the protected areas. And then security-wise, we shall it will be improved because we are bringing in more forces. When I talk of recruitment of rangers, these are well-trained personnel, and we don't work alone.
Lastly, I come to you, Commissioner.
We did gazette. They gave us, it's about agreeing with the institution, and I'm sure one of the ministers is here from Arua. We've worked with them. We always have the Prime Minister with us.
And I want to thank the panelists for that insightful morning discussion that they've given us. I think we should give them another, especially Doctor, who's very knowledgeable about West Nile and all these other things. Now, I just want to start first of all by defining what tourism is, because we seem to look at maybe at the national parks, at the culture, but tourism is much broader. And for us, we say everyone or anyone that moves from their normal place of abode and goes to another and spends more than 24 hours is a tourist. More than 24 hours. Tourism is mainly run by the private sector and you, the communities. For us as government are just enablers. We put in place the infrastructure for you to make sure that you succeed. So you own the business, you run the hotels. The culture, for instance, if we speak to West Nile, because you're so much diverse when it comes to culture, belongs to you. Ours is to make sure it is accessible, to build the museums for you. But the person who creates the culture is who? Is you. And there is a lot of competition in Uganda for the Ministry of Tourism to support so many cultural institutions. Of course, we don't have the resources to support everyone, but whoever is organized enough is the one who will easily move with. So ours as government really is to enable, but the rest is yours. These are beautiful hotels. My sister here, who has done a very good job, is for you. And I want to thank you for the good investment. When I was coming in last night, if you go on the Google Maps and you just look for hotels, the town clerk was telling us there are around 2,000 rooms here, but the average price was around $50. But we cannot speak tourism. And West Nile is very interesting for us. Very interesting. Because you're in a volatile area. South Sudan is not as safe as us here. DRC is not as safe. Uganda is very safe. And I want to thank His Excellency the President. And of course, the UPDF for creating this environment. Where there is no security, don't even mention tourism. The two are enemies. If bullets are shot here 5 times, the first thing you'll get on the red list from the Britons, the Americans, they zone out that area. And they tell every traveler from their country, never go to West Nile. There is no insurance company that will insure any Muzungu to come here when this place becomes insecure. So we are speaking tourism because of the security, and we want to thank them. But of course I know that the people are also very important in securing this region. Very, very important. And sometimes me, I'm playing the NRM, and of course, like I told you, if the NRM government hadn't brought the security, there would be no Minister of Tourism. I wouldn't be here moving around. So it's important that you, the people of West Nile, you guard these games selfishly, so that this region continues stable. And we'll talk about 4,000 rooms. You can imagine how many people are employed, your sons and daughters, who are employed within this sector. So many. The Minister of Tourism as a whole, directly, is one of the biggest employers in this country. We employ around almost 8% of the entire employable human resource. We double government employment, because it's around 400,000. And that is only direct. So you can imagine, maybe you have around over 1,000 people employed in this sector, just within. And we are speaking Arua, we are not speaking West Nile yet. We speak about the other districts, then you can see. So it's important that you guard all these things. So tourism is very important for you, the communities. You're the biggest benefactors to this sector. Of course, yes, as government, we also benefit a lot, especially from a region that would contribute. And there is a lot of potential in West Nile. My team has been here. You've heard the prayers of the mayor and the team. Let's get these people together. I was talking to my commissioner here for museums. She's in charge of the culture. The discussion about the museum, we already know about it. And some of these things we can work around to make sure that we fast track them and their deliverables at the end of the day.
We are in Arua city in the West Nile region to celebrate the World Tourism Day 2025, joining the rest of the world, because this is an internationally recognized day. As part of the celebrations, of course the celebrations take place on 27th of every September of the year. But prior to that, we usually hold a series of activities, and today what we have had here at Arua Primary School is the World Tourism Day Sports Gala, which involved different categories of games. Today we had football, we had tug of war, and we had cycling. In football particularly, 32 teams participated, and this is a mix of teams that travel from all around the country to come and participate in the tourism games, but also teams that come from within the region. At the end of the day, we had the Association of Uganda Tour Operators as the winners for the Sports Gala football tournament. And for cycling, we had a closed circuit cycling where 21 teams participated, riding around a closed circuit in a football pitch at Arua Primary School. And in this, 60 cyclists were set off at a go, and knockout based where 2 top cyclists qualified to the next round. At the end of the day, we had the top 10 awarded with gold and silver medals by the Honorable Minister of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities. We also had tug of war, which was conducted on a knockout basis. You know, tug of war, rope pulling one side versus another, and it's on a knockout basis. The winners for the World Tourism Day sports competition in the tug of war category for today was MOBS, Makerere University Business School, Nakawa, the main campus.
Sports tourism is a very important component of tourism as a sector, and we've had a good collaboration with the Ministry of Sports, especially with CHAN and AFCON coming up, and I want to thank government for investing in sports tourism. So whoever comes into this country for sports is at the end of the day doing tourism. Of course, today we are doing these activities, the tug of war, the cycling, the soccer, where we had over 30 teams participate around the tourism day, just to showcase the importance of sports within the tourism as well, but also to create activities around the World Tourism Day, and also get a platform through which the local people, the local communities can participate and understand what tourism is all about. And that's what we've been doing today. And I want to congratulate all the winners. And I want to thank the people of West Nile for participating and hosting us, especially the people of Arua City.
Good